America. What a great country! A country of majestic cities, breathtaking nature, impressive history. Well, interesting history. And here is America's symbol, an animal that represents its strength and free spirit. Oh, wait, maybe that's the animal that best represents America's current state, deep polarization. After the 2016 presidential election, one half of the country has turned to the other half of the country and accused it quite unequivocally of such serious sins as overt racism, sexism, and homophobia. You don't have to agree with me, but I personally think that this is a dead-end strategy. First, when you directly accuse somebody of being sexist, homophobic, or racist, this usually marks the end of a friendly, constructive discussion. Second, this strategy ignores what science tells us, that in the modern America we should beware not of the explicit prejudgment, although it certainly exists as well, but of assumptions that are hiding under the surface of our consciousness. These assumptions are called implicit biases. Implicit biases are what makes us all contribute to society the way it is, with all its beauty and its flaws. Yes, we are all pieces of this puzzle, whether we want it or not. In this video, I'm going to discuss what we know about implicit biases. I'm also going to talk about the importance of dealing with implicit biases through education. Here is what you should know about me. I'm an educator and a scholar who studies education. And since implicit biases is something we often learn as kids, I believe that helping our children become more aware of how this process works might actually help us make our society a better place. Anyways, how do we know about implicit biases? That's a good question. We know about them thanks to an ingenious test invented by Harvard scholars. It is called Implicit Association Test. To take the test online for free, go to implicit.harvard.edu. The test is fun to take, but beware, results that you will get might disappoint you, because they might reveal implicit biases that you would rather prefer not to have. How does this test work? I'm going to explain it first using a relatively neutral topic, flowers and insects. If you have strong opinions about flowers and insects, my apologies. You sit in front of a computer. In the beginning of the test, you are informed that you are going to see a mix of words coming from 4 different categories. First, flowers: rose, lily, daffodil, lilac, tulip, etc. The second category will be insects: flea, moth, bug, ant, caterpillar, and the like. Then there will be a category for words that mean something nice: lovely, sweet, enjoy, heaven, and a category for things that are unpleasant: damage, gloom, vomit, hurt. You are asked to look at the screen and press only 2 keys, E and I, depending on what word comes up. You must do it as quickly as possible. The test calculates your speed and counts wrong answers. You can't fool this test. The words from the 4 categories start randomly appearing on the screen one by one. First, you are told that you need to press E as fast as you can for words that mean flowers or something pleasant, and I for words that mean insects or something unpleasant. Let's try it. I'm going to give you a list of words to sort through. Remember, E for flowers and pleasant things, I for insects and unpleasant things. Now close your eyes. Ready? Go. Rose, bug, daffodil, heaven, mosquito, vomit, lily, heaven, damage, centipede. Open your eyes. Now the rules will change. You will need to mentally pick E for flowers and unpleasant things, and I for insects and pleasant things. Close your eyes again. Ready? Go. Hurt, moth, rose, flea, enjoy, daffodil, centipede, damage, lily, pleasant, tulip. Okay, you can open your eyes now. How was it? I decided to throw in another owl picture just for the heck of it. If you did not cheat while I was giving you the words to sort through, you have probably discovered that the first task was much easier than the second one. It's easier for us to associate flowers with things that are nice, and it's equally easy to associate insects with things that are unpleasant and scary. It's not insects' fault. Now that we know how the test works, we can move to more sensitive topics. For example, race. In the race implicit association test, you see white and black faces mixed with words for bad things like disgust, yucky, evil, and words for good things, attractive, cheerful, lovely, etc. When you get your result for the race test, chances are you will look like this guy. You will probably not be happy. 75% of those who take the race implicit association test reveal automatic white preference. Ouch, that's a lot. But it gets worse. The automatic white preference is established as signaling discriminatory behavior. And I do not mean horrible acts of racism, 12 years a slave style. I mean actions that sometimes do not look like discrimination at all, but together lead to the problem known as white privilege. This information is taken from the book Blind Spot: Hidden Biases of Good People, written by the Harvard scholars who created the implicit association test. The title of the book is very important. It turns out that in the modern America, discrimination exists not because of a bunch of evil bigots, although their actions matter as well, but because of good people like you and me who genuinely believe in equality. Even people who are actively advocating for equality may find out that they have the automatic white preference. So what the heck? We are all part of the infinitely complex society. We all contribute to its existence. What's society if not people and relationships between them? But even when we truly want to change the way society works, it might be extremely difficult to do, because each of us is just a speck in this vast social universe. We are bound to reproduce our society's beauty and its flaws. Yes, society is changing, and some things are seemingly getting better. But inequalities of race, gender, sexuality, and physical ability still exist, and they are not going away anytime soon unless we become more aware of how we all contribute to these problems, even if we genuinely want to make them go away. Awareness is essential. I believe that it can be increased through education, and the earlier we start learning about our implicit biases, the better, because the longer we wait, the harder it is to acknowledge them. I mean education that allows us to reflect on what we know about the world and how we know it. Educational strategies that help us see ourselves as parts of the big sophisticated puzzle called society. I'm going to discuss some of these strategies in more detail in my future videos. If we acknowledge our implicit biases, we should be able to overcome the deep polarization that plagues our society, and we will be able to search for constructive solutions for social problems together.